Hello, this is Photography Gamer, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm reviewing Pillars of Eternity for the PS4. The game is also available for Microsoft Windows. Pillars of Eternity is a top-down role-playing game developed by Obsidian Entertainment. The game adopts a more retro RPG style akin to the Baldur's Gate franchise. So what is the game like to play? Well, the game starts with a mysterious group of explorers running into a spot of bother. You soon find yourself on your own and exploring strange lands as you try to figure out how everything works. One thing the game does very badly are tutorials, or any sense of scene setting in the early stages. It just lets you work things out yourself, and this isn't a good move as it's already a fairly clumsy and muddled game full of admin and menus, so to expect a complete newbie to work everything out isn't going to win any fans. Like when I first played it originally, I knew what to expect as I'd had the Baldur's Gate experience under my belt, but for anyone new to this genre, you might not make it past the first few hours. But if you can, there is a good game in there, with tactical combat, an interesting narrative and enough loot to keep even the greediest hoarder happy. After a while you'll find other characters to join your ranks, or you can hire them from your local tavern. It's a nice system that allows you to create your own unique band of adventurers. But this is both a strength and a weakness, as the game is so incredibly heavy on admin and screen menu management that having 6 characters to work with just multiplies the admin by 6. It's also incredibly time consuming, and even after a long session, it's hard to say that there was any sense of satisfaction or achievement. It was a real slog to get through the first time, and second time round it was even less palatable. The combat isn't great either. I think it should have been truly turn-based, because as it stands, it just doesn't feel very satisfying. Yes, you can pause the game constantly, set your formation, moves, attacks, etc. But it's incredibly laborious and admin heavy, and it feels more like an admin chore than an actual role-playing game or combat. Overall, I'd say it's a bit of a niche role-playing game for the hardcore crowd only. 8 out of 10 gamers will probably get bored of it in the first few hours and move on to something else. But if you enjoy old style, slow paced and admin heavy games, then you will no doubt love it. For me, it's a little bit of a dinosaur in terms of how the industry handles RPGs today. It's nice for a little bit of nostalgia, but it's not really practical, especially for the console market. Visually, the game is pretty dire, with poorly detailed characters, bland and flat environments, and overall standard of graphics that would have been fine 20 years ago. But by modern standards, it really looks pretty awful. Also, the fonts aren't well optimized for console users, being far too small unless you sit with your face attached to the TV screen. One area the game does excel is music. They've chosen wisely, and each piece suits the scene and adds a great deal of character to the experience. The voice acting, however, is fairly middle of the road. And one thing I felt that the whole game lacked was a sense of humour. Everything is so serious, and the narrative could really have done with a lighter touch, because as it stands, it's very stuffy and straight-faced all the time. Okay, what's good and what's bad? What's good? The story and writing are of a high standard, the music is excellent, the character creation is a nice touch, and it's a throwback to a retro era of role-playing games. What's bad? The game is far too serious and lacks any sense of humour or charm. The combat is a muddled, admin-heavy mess. The voice acting is inconsistent. There are far too many screen management sections. The graphics are disappointing. And it's a game that feels years out of date. So what's the verdict? Pillars of Eternity is a trip down memory lane for hardcore role-playing game enthusiasts. For anyone who loved the old Baldur's Gate games, this will be like nectar from the gods. But for everyone else, it will seem like a massive downgrade when compared to current role-playing games like Skyrim or The Witcher 3. Pillars of Eternity relies on nostalgia to hold its audience, but this style of game has slowly become less and less prevalent in the market for a reason. Back in the day, this would have been fine, but times change, the industry moves on, and Pillars of Eternity is a game stuck in another time. The first time I played it, I didn't mind it, but second time round the nostalgia wore off, and it's only really suitable for a very small niche group of gamers, who I'm sure will absolutely love it. It's not a bad game, it's just an experience that is ill suited to the console market and something that won't appeal to the vast majority of gamers today. But if you don't mind slow paced, admin heavy games, and you've got a lot of time to kill, then you might get something from it. So my score for Pillars of Eternity is 7 out of 10. Okay, that was the review. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. This is Photography Gamer signing off. Thank you.